The Olympic experience for USA men's volleyball, it was not pretty. Athens, Greece, it was a roller coaster ride for both Dain Blanton and Jeff Nygaard, and of course Dax Holdren and Stein Metzger. Holdren and Metzger had a little bit better time of it, Karch.
Well, they certainly had some great things to celebrate. They pulled out a nice win against Australia in their first round of pool play. Also had some lows, losing a close one to Norway. But their biggest match was winning right here against a great German team in the quarterfinals. On the other hand, Nygaard and Blanton, really nothing to celebrate. Missing the block, missing hits, missing serves, and finish off a very poor performance there, a disappointing performance for them, but now they have an opportunity to turn it into a plus.
AVP Nissan Series, we are guaranteed our 8th different winner in 9 events on the men's circuit. The Chicago Open presented by McDonald's. Glad you're with us. Chris Marlowe, Karch, Mike Dodd, Heather Cox.
Boy, what a difference a couple of weeks can make. Nygaard and Blanton were just so low, and then Nygaard heads out to the Greek Isle, ties the knot. They come here to Chicago, and they've been playing great, and that's the beauty of sports.
8-7 our score. Blanton and Nygaard continue to lead. Of course, when you talk about Blanton and Nygaard, the big entity in Athens was how were they getting along? What was their chemistry like? It was like Karch, and St. John Smith, like dogs and cats. They just were not.
It seemed like they were really having trouble communicating as much as they should have leading up to the Olympics. And
now that will help communication.
Absolutely, and they got the nice hand slap there. Actually, Nygaard was talking about it earlier in this tournament. I said, well, what's the difference? He said, you know what, we're just coming out and having fun and freelancing more. I might tell Dain I'm blocking line, but switch it to angle. He might go somewhere else, and it's really working for us. We're just playing with no pressure and playing great.
There were some players that I talked to that watched the Olympic coverage that thought that Dain Blanton was much too harsh on his partner, Jeff Nygaard. Trying to ride him, trying to goad him, trying to encourage him. Nice block by Nygaard. Hyden gets it back. But they thought he was a little unfair to his partner. I mean, obviously beach volleyball is a team sport. Blanton had some serious issues with Nygaard.
You know, I think they were both so frustrated at their lack of success earlier this year, and then they would try to rationalize it. Well, we don't care about what happens earlier or leading up to the Olympics. What we want to do is peak for the Olympics. It appears they're peaking in a couple of weeks too late.
Nygaard, and Nygaard into the net. I'm surprised they haven't served Nygaard every ball.
Yeah.
That's what most teams did in the Olympics, and it worked.
Yes, but earlier this year when Mike Lambert and I were playing against Blanton and Nygaard, he had some tremendous matches blocking Dain Blanton. So he always has that in the back of his mind that I might be able to get on a roll again. I'm always going to try him out, he thinks. But then they have to go back to Nygaard if they don't have success.
10-9, and now make it 11-9. Blanton and Nygaard in the red trunks. There's Jeff Nygaard, 6'8", 215 pounds and married, and he can still hit the cross court when he's on top.
Even post-honeymoon.
Does marriage make you a better player or distract you?
I think it's made me a much better player, getting married and having kids. It just helps you have a life after volleyball, and you don't define yourself solely by what happens on the court. And if you have a bad match, well, you still got your family to come home to.
Absolutely. That's very well put. It just changes your focus, and when you're young, all you're thinking about is volleyball, and then you have kids and a family, and everything changes.
Let's take a moment to look at the Nissan point leaders. Who will be the mythical kings of the beach? And right now, Karch and Mike Lambert, Julian Gibb, Whit Rosenthal. If you didn't hear the news, Karch tweaking his back a little earlier this week, the residue of holding up the microphone. It was very tough duty on Karch over in Athens, and you didn't come through it without an injury, did you?
Oh, too much sitting over there.
Yep, a little bit.
2.5 weeks of sitting, about 18 hours a day, and having fun with you, Chris, and calling all the beach volleyball there. Had a great time, but I'm going to have to train my back for next time if we do it in Beijing. Going to have to do more back and core exercises.
And here we see the cumulative effect of Lambert up at the net. That's 2 unforced errors in a row for Nygaard, cuffing in the net and hitting this last one out of bounds. That's what your great blockers do. It's not so much the stuffs, it's once they get in the heads of the hitters.
First tie since 1-1, and then Hyden serves the ball out. Hyden, a 2-time All-American at San Diego State.
But
he's getting all the serves.
But in his first final, committing a cardinal sin there of having 2 easy points and then serving the next ball out and letting Nygaard off the hook.
Blanton has been serving hard all tournament. And Hyden smacks it down. I had a chance to ask Mike Lambert before the tournament, what about playing with John Hyden? He says, I love it. The only problem is that Hyden sweats like a dog, and sometimes the ball comes off with a lot of water to make setting the ball very difficult for him.
It does make it difficult, but what John gives Mike that I don't is that hard hit that we just saw in that last play, the deep middle or a hard cross court.
Hyden with a dig, Lambert going. Oh, he got it up. What a play. Lambert is there. Hyden, can he get up? Can he hit? Blanton's got it. Blanton, his roof. One of the great plays of the summer.
That is probably the play of the year, because watch Lambert come flying back into your screen, the max jump, and still gets it up when he comes down, playing so high above and so low also.
And we've talked about how much he's matured all summer long, and that's kind of a culmination, that play right there, of court savvy and awareness and just doing all the little things and finishing with the big block.
The Chicago Sun-Times, the local paper here in the Windy City, had a great article today talking about Mike Lambert as the best American player, wondering why he wasn't in Athens, Greece.
Well, and you had a good quote in that article, Chris, saying, you know, Lambert's the guy. If you're going to pick playground teams, he's the one you pick first, and let the other guy have the next two picks. He's that kind of MVP player this year on the AVP tour.
And Jeff Nygaard responding. Nygaard's got a lot of family and friends here. His new wife, Renee, and they're all here from the Midwest, and they want to see the big fella get his first victory this year.
Well, certainly there's a lot different experience than Mike Lambert's last experience here 2 years ago playing with Lee LeGrand. He was warming up for the semifinals and couldn't find Lee. He's running all around. He found him waiting, just hanging out on the stage with his backpack on. Lambert said he almost ripped his head off. He was so furious that Lee wasn't even paying attention to the starting time of the match.
Game 2, if you just joined us, Dain Blanton and Jeff Nygaard in the red uniforms won the first, and they did it easily, 21-17. Game 2 have been a little bit different. Hyden and Lambert playing better. Nygaard, Hyden, no, he can't get it.
And that's just a tough break. You see the frustration right there in the face of Hyden. He was right there on the ball. He made the perfect move defensively and just couldn't control it with the little one-arm pop-up. That's a tough break.
And Hyden unable to bring that ball up.
So they've gone to Nygaard, and they're starting to make some plays happen. Nygaard's made a few errors, and their defense is really starting to click.
The Chicago Open will continue. 14-all, men's final. Our men's championship final, the Chicago Open presented by McDonald's. Blanton and Nygaard won game 1. We're tied here in game 2. The opposition, John Hyden and Mike Lambert, playing in their first tournament together ever. Karch out with a back injury. Hyden filling in admirably. Both teams are 5-0, undefeated. The crowd has been raucous all weekend long. So Dain Blanton with the serve. And Lambert puts it through.
Lambert doing a real job there of a little bit of poaching, coming over and helping out his partner Hyden, taking that middle serve and converting.
We've been working on that a lot in practice. I want him to poach all he can now that I don't have a shoulder. Take the whole court, Mike. I'll just stand at the net.
Mike Lambert, his team ahead by 1, 15-14. Lambert rejects.
And again, it just looks to me like Nygaard is out of rhythm with his approach. He's just arriving late.
Well, the wind seems to be getting up just a little bit, and I think Dain is trying to compensate for it, and his sets are blowing around a little, and Jeff, as you mentioned, is having a little trouble tracking that ball down. There's a better set.
Nygaard, Hyden is there. Hyden on the left. And he chops it down the line. So John Hyden, who has never been in a final before, trying to rise to the occasion. He said, let's get going, Chicago.
And that's one of the trademarks that Mike Lambert is so good at, is when his partner gets a dig, he gives him a perfect set. John Hyden with the easy put away, but not every big man can do this play that Mike Lambert does right there. And that's put it within 2 feet of the net. Your partner, Mike Dodd, for many years, Mike Whitmarsh, was really the first big man to be able to do that consistently.
One of the absolute best. And I tell you, it's funny, volleyball is a series of so many individual plays, but one play can make such a huge difference in that great rally where Lambert scrambled underneath the net to the side. Everything's changed since then. They won that rally. It was a huge play, and they've kept the pressure on Nygaard, and now they're taking control of this game, too.
A reminder coming up next, NBC proudly presents the inaugural First Tee Open at Pebble Beach, presented by Walmart. Don't miss the top teenage golfers as they tee it up with legends Arnold Palmer, Hale Irwin, Tom Watson, and more. That's the First Tee Open at Pebble Beach, presented by Walmart, coming up next on NBC. What a spot for those teenagers.
Yeah. Could you imagine, A, going to Pebble, and then B, teeing it up with Arnie?
Arnie, what club should I use?
Doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
It's like some teenage girls coming out here and getting to play with Carrie and Misty after their gold medal Olympic performance.
And Nygaard pounds it down. A 6-2 scoring run stopped finally by Nygaard and Blanton. Nygaard and Blanton won the first. And Hyden and Lambert leading here in game 2.
At this point, you're thinking, because when you're on offense, when you're receiving serve, you have the advantage. Really, all Lambert and Hyden have to do is make 4 good put-away plays on serve reception, and they win this game.
And down the line, and Nygaard keeps trying to guess. Those two know each other very well because Lambert, Hyden, and Nygaard all on 2 Olympic teams. So they've played against each other indoors. They know each other's stuff.
Played together in '96 in Atlanta and Sydney in 2000 as indoor players.
But I tell you here, when you got Lambert taking that pass with his hands, you know Hyden's going to get a good set.
Yeah.
I just don't like the dropping off in this particular situation.
18-15. Guys put some pressure on Hyden. And cross court, Hyden's got it for a moment off his arm, out of bounds, and another kill for Jeff Nygaard. Nygaard's got 14 spikes.
That play looks a little easier than it actually is because John Hyden's expecting it to come really hard but not hit the tape. And when it jumps up, it has a different kind of spin, and it's hard to control. Went off his arms, out of bounds.
Blanton will serve John Hyden. And Hyden, we mentioned that Hyden was on the 1996 Olympic team, and he was projected as a starter, but for some reason Fred Sturm, the coach at that time, did not start him in the first 2 matches, which the United States really struggled. Lost one, struggled in the other, and they had a team meeting. And Fred Sturm said, does anybody have anything to say? And John Hyden stood up and said, yes, you should start me. We're playing crummy, and I can help the team. And he started him the next match off that meeting, and the United States actually beat Poland. So Hyden is a fiery guy.
And playing with another fiery guy, and Mike Lambert, who's got them at game point to tie this up, make it go to a 3rd game here.
And Lambo starting to pick up the pace at the net. That's his 4th stuff block, just pressing over just in time.
20-16, Hyden and Lambert. You could say the crowd is alive here in Chicago. First game point. And that's it. Lambert again.
And that's what I was talking about before. He has gotten on to some huge runs on Dain Blanton, and he blocked him 10 times in one game earlier this year in Fort Lauderdale. He's going to keep that in the back of his mind and know he can always go back to try that again.
That's just such a sweet move into the cross court. Watch the arms. Lambo, it's a cumulative effect. It's pressure. It's just on you from the beginning of the match to the end.
Men's championship final of beauty. We're going to the 3rd and final game.
This summer, we're serving up day fresh beer all over America. Where will you find it?
He's on the AVP Nissan Series, $150,000, a capacity crowd with Olympic fever. Chris Marlowe with Karch, Mike Dodd, and Heather Cox, our men's final. The first game won by Blanton and Nygaard, easily game 2. Mike Lambert, John Hyden turning it around. Mike Lambert now the blocking sensation, and we're going to the 3rd and final game. What's the key to game 3, Karch?
Mike Lambert to block like he did in game 2, and I think they're going to be able to win.
Hyden with the dig. Lambert. Blanton's got it. puts it away. Dain Blanton, 32 years old, 2000 Olympic gold medalist. And they're on the board first.
You mentioned Olympic fever, Chris. I think it was yesterday afternoon. There was an autograph session for Kerry Walsh and Misty May, and about 2,000 people in line to get their autograph. Haven't seen anything like that since 1996 when we got to get gold and silver on the men's side.
And the put away for John Hyden. His best finish ever. He got a 4th in Oceanside 3 years ago. He's got 21 kills, a former San Diego State star, trying to make good on his big opportunity with Mike Lambert.
And we saw him come out very tentative in game 1, a little bit of nerves or whatever, and he's really settled down and done some great sighting out here.
Lambert again. 6 blocks for Mike Lambert. No wonder Karch looks so good on defense behind Lambert when they play together.
Everybody looks good on defense behind him. It's not just me. John Hyden's been playing great defense, and Mike Lambert reads that ball so well. One of the things he tries to do is something that Mike Whitmarsh was great at, and that is to try to make it look the same every single time, and you might as well flip a coin. You don't know whether he's going to take angle or line, and he mixes it up till the last minute.
2-1, and over the top goes Nygaard. Nygaard and Blanton haven't won a tournament in just about a year. They won the Las Vegas shootout a year ago on their way to 3 tournament wins, and they had won the most tournaments.
But they also had a great tournament here last year, beating Mike Whitmarsh and Kenyon Seaman in the final. They went 2 close games, and now they're getting more pressure on them going to game 3.
And Lambert touched the net. He hit it with his nose. Lambert hit the net with his nose.
He might be trying to say, well, the ball was down before I touched the net.
He got it with his schnozzy.
And he did hit that so hard, I think that ball was down before his schnoz hit it. Before his schnoz touched the net. And of course, in volleyball, you cannot touch the net at any time.
We're going to see right here.
Watch it.
Down.
Right there.
Yeah.
Got to trim your nose hairs if you're playing AVP.
It looked like he touched it on the follow-through.
Yeah, he got it twice.
I think that
but
was
I'm telling you,
it's a good call.
The key is they got to just forget about that call. Game to 15, you don't want to lose your focus.
3-2, Blanton and Nygaard. Nice set. Speaking of what the Lambert blocking, how would you rate him as a blocker worldwide?
Oh, he's clearly, to me, the best blocker in the world, and I would have loved to have seen those international players like Ricardo and Emanuel from Brazil and all the other players who played so well at the Olympics have to contend with a whole new level of blocking that Mike has developed this year.
3-3 our score. Hyden, nice up. Nygaard is a very good setter. And the put away. So Blanton spikes it down. So you're saying that Mike Lambert is a better blocker than Ricardo, the Brazilian giant who dominated the Olympics?
Yes, absolutely.
You've
Ricardo
got to be kidding me.
Ricardo going into the final only had 8 blocks the whole
Yeah, and then he got 10
tournament.
more in the final.
But Lambert here in 1 match already has almost that much. He has 6.
Let's see if Mike Dodd concurs. Lambert better than Ricardo. And Lambert missed that one. Mike, do you concur on that, blocking-wise?
Most definitely. And I think the good news for, U.S. volleyball and the U.S. men and the U.S. women is that hopefully the qualification process is going to switch up so that we're going to see players that are really playing at their peak before the Olympics be the teams that qualify and play there.
Correct. Not the teams that peak in the year before the Olympics, but the teams that peak the year of the Olympics.
5-3 Blanton.
Simple
Nygaard.
thing seems to make sense.
Nygaard and off the hands, and they're working on Hyden, and Hyden's giving up some points now.
Well, Dain had a great serve. That created the whole point scoring opportunity, is that tough jump serve that he had, and we did not see that out of Blanton or Nygaard during the Olympics, but they both have broken out some very tough serves. Makes it much easier to score points.
Timeout for Hyden and Lambert. 2 teams playing each other for the first time. And right now, Dain Blanton and Jeff Nygaard in command at 6-3.
All right, you guys, if you keep up this behavior, I'm not having lunch with you anymore. No, you cannot have my chicken selects. Joey, I don't even have the box open 2 seconds, and you're going for my chicken selects? Mike, do you think I didn't see that? There is an electrical fence around my chicken selects. You've got the little electrical things on your neck, and you get too close, that's what's gonna happen to you. Nothing to see here at all, it's just chicken selects. We're having a little lunch. McDonald's is open, people. Get your own.
I'm loving it.
I think we've all learned a very valuable lesson here today.
The taste of fresh beer. It just never gets old.
The AVP Nissan Series Chicago Open presented by McDonald's, brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the AVP. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? Third and final game, men's final, AVP Nissan Series. This is Chicago Open presented by McDonald's. Blanton and Nygaard won game one. Hyden and Lambert won game two. We're in the third and final right here, 6-3. Dain Blanton, Jeff Nygaard in the red trunks. John Hyden trying to hang on here. He's had a great run. He's got to suck it up now, and he taps it down the line.
That's just another great set by Mike Lambert, just taking a very high, spinny pass and giving Hyden a perfect set to work with. And we talk about certain sets just hitting themselves, and a lot of those Lambert sets do hit themselves. They sometimes practice together when I'm out of the country or whatever, and John Hyden says, I love hitting those Karch sets on the left. I'll go for it.
6-4. Cross court, Hyden is there. Gets a sweet shoot set. Oh, they call 4 contacts.
The referee is saying that Lambert touched the ball on the block and that he had to put it over instead of set it.
Let's listen. And it's a red card. That's going to cost them a point. That's costing them a point.
And that's a tough break for one of the nicest guys on tour, Lambert. He just lost it there. Made some aggressive gestures at the net, and he's going to have to take a red card and deal with it.
Our first referee, Dan Apel, making the call that it grazed the arm, reminiscent of a play back in the late 80s when a ball went by Karch and Brent Frohoff, and the referee said, you touched it. You didn't whack the net, you pulled the net down. And the referee,
and
in Rhode Island.
The ref surfed the net stand right on down. What a horrible break for Lambert, though. I've never even seen him get a red card before. And now that costs them a point. They're down by 4 instead of down by 2, winning the end of that round.
And I think it's safe to say he did not touch that ball.
Lambert is seething, and he's a pretty mellow guy. He's got that laid-back attitude, but now he's into it. Let's see what happens now. 8-4 our score. You know, I thought they were calling Lambert for a lift or a double contact on that play, but obviously it was the 4 contacts.
The referee thought he saw what we call a micro touch. Even if it just grazes the fingertip or the fingernail of the blocker, that would count as one of the 3 contacts on that side of the net.
Lambert seething at the net now. Let's see what he does.
Come on!
Hyden's there. Hyden looking for one, and he's got it. You know, Mike Lambert, you remember King Kong when he was sitting on top of the building, the Empire State Building, and they shot him a couple of times when he got really mad? That could be Mike Lambert right now.
But still maintaining his composure enough to make a great set yet again. When his partner comes up with the dig, he puts him in a position to put that ball away.
Cross-court spike out. And make it 8-7. So since the argument, 3 straight points for Lambert and Hyden.
And I think the real key to that was coming out, and Hyden had a great side out the first service reception after the big arguments, and that really set up their momentum to play some defense.
And Dain Blanton's been a part of a red card situation at the last Olympics in Sydney. He and Eric Fenoy-Luana got called for a red card, came back and won the next 5 points.
Blanton and Nygaard get a much-needed point. Now make it 9-7. Remember, we're going to 15. Blanton and Nygaard trying to win their first tournament in nearly a year. It's been an 0-4 drought for one of the great players in beach volleyball history, Dain Blanton, his partner, Jeff Nygaard.
And they had a great tournament here last year. They are the defending champions.
I want to see if Blanton and Nygaard win. Will they have a hug-a-thon? What kind of a celebration will it be?
I think there'll be a great release of emotion.
Okay.
They've had so much frustration.
But together or apart? Together or apart?
I think together.
9-8 our score. They're working on Nygaard. And Nygaard snaps it down the line. That might be the key to the match. If Nygaard can get the ball past Mike Lambert, they're going to win this match.
Well, you talked about celebrations, and Jeff Nygaard's going to have to work his new wife, Renee, in there, too. Having gotten married just less than 2 weeks ago after the Olympics were over for him, going to Santorini.
Got married on a Greek island. As a matter of fact, Lambert married a week ago Thursday. So we have two new husband here battling it out, trying to get a paycheck. Hyden. Oh, great up. Oh, and the sock is out of bounds, and Blanton is beside himself. He made a great dig. Nygaard poking it over. Pretty good idea. Just couldn't convert.
I think Jeff Nygaard felt like he couldn't set that cleanly, so he's just going to try and get it over. But boy, was Dain ready to get
just
up.
kind of handcuffed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dain was ready to get up and just whack that for a point. Really disappointed he didn't get a chance at it.
10-9. Now John Hyden will serve. Blanton and Nygaard set to go. They are up by 1, 10-9. The 30th serve to Nygaard. Cross court heat for Big Jeff.
And that is the Nygaard that we saw for all of 2003. Really strong on his siding out game, even when Blanton doesn't give him a perfect set. Dain's a good setter, but not a great setter. And that's what's been missing this year. And that they've been struggling as a result and not able to win a single match at the Olympics as a result.
Blanton and Nygaard telling us we're peaking for the Olympics. We're just so close. We're trying to get over the hump. We think we've got it. They were not able to do it in Athens, but maybe today is the day. They lead it 11-9. Hyden, and Hyden chopping it through. John Hyden in his first final.
Playing on the left side, just doing an unbelievable job hitting against the Nygaard block. And this is where, at the end of game 2, Mike Lambert really took control. Let's see if he can do it again, putting pressure on at the net.
11-10.
Good
Lambert
choice.
behind.
They decide to switch it up and go to Dain Blanton.
And Blanton spikes hard. So Dain Blanton, whose brother Kurt introduced him to volleyball when he was in the 5th grade, and he has learned his lessons well.
And Dain has a knack for making big plays when he gets on a big center stage like we are here today, and he's doing it in this match.
12-10. Hyden. Whamma. So Johnny Hyden, on Monday of this week, he wasn't playing in the tournament. Tuesday, he gets the call from Mike Lambert. Are you available if Karch can't play? He says yes, and he's here. At 12-11, Hyden. He's got 27 kills.
But they have to make something happen one of the next 3 serves, or they lose on the side out on the rally scoring system.
Hyden can't control it. Hyden's getting opportunities, but he's not coming up with the digs.
He's been lined up now 2 or 3 times right into that angle and just unable to control. You got to have to make one big play and try to even up the score with this rally scoring system.
So Blanton will serve it at 13-11. Oh, bad set. Lambert. Oh, and Lambert unloads. I don't know where Nygaard thought that was going.
I think that shot is open, Mike. I think he's going to have that one.
You know what?
He's had that all summer long.
For most players on tour, that's a trap set, and you're in huge trouble. Lambert, 6'6", long arms and a great vertical, just beats that ball cross court.
The newlyweds battling it out. Jeff Nygaard and Mike Lambert, both trying to bring home the big paycheck to the little mama. 13-12. Blanton. And Blanton, boy, another diggable ball. It looks like Hyden's moving a little bit, Karch.
Couple times there, he just hasn't been set when the spike's been delivered, and this is a must side out now for Lambert.
So here we go. It's been almost a year for Dain Blanton and Jeff Nygaard. Will the celebration come out? Will this end the frustration? Can they get it? Championship point. Hyden. And it's over. Jeff Nygaard and Dain Blanton finally win in 2004. They are the champions here in Chicago.
Well, Chris and Mike, that red card ended up to be very costly. They end up losing by just 3 points, but there was a 2-point switch in that play, and they would be going in.